This is a true story. It happened to a friend of mine. Oh, I'm friends with a lot of the kids who play in the park where I work. Now, Nancy was only 6, but she was kind of special. You see, she had this invisible friend named Shirley who lived in my tool shed over by the water fountain. Nancy had real live friends, too, and Nancy would let them play games with Shirley. Problem was, Shirley would always win. They'd play tag, and all the kids would run around until Nancy would shout, "Shirley tagged you, you're it." When they played hopscotch, Shirley never stepped on the line, according to Nancy. And hide and seek, well, forget about it. No one could ever find invisible Shirley, except sometimes when Nancy would call, come out, wherever you are," and Shirley would come out. Well, at least Nancy would say she did. Well, everybody in the park, including me, thought it was kind of cute. Except Nancy's brother Ned and his pals. They were troublemakers. You see, Ned was 9, and 9-year-old boys can be a little problem, especially if they have a little sister who gets a whole lot more attention than they do. Ned and the boys would tease Nancy all the time, telling her that there was no Shirley, and that anyone who talked to the air when they were supposed to be talking to a person had to be totally nutso. The thing that pushed Nancy over the edge was when her brother offered to help the girls play jump rope. Ned took one end and turned the rope as the girls, one by one, hopped in and jumped while chanting their, "A, my name is Anna, and husband's name is Abe. We come from Alberta, and we sell apples." And then, "B, my name," and then C, like that. When Shirley's turn came, she had to do the letter F. She jumped in, according to Nancy, just when Ned jerked the rope and he shouted, "There's no one there!" Nancy dropped to her knees, looked down at the pavement and said, "Look what you did. Shirley scraped her knee." Ned laughed, and Nancy not only cried, she ran home and told her mother. Now, it just so happened that Nancy's mom had an invisible friend when she was a little girl. Oh, poor Ned. He really got it. He was grounded for a week with no video games. Now imagine a 9-year-old boy with no space aliens to shoot, no race cars to spin out, no virtual basketball, virtual football, or virtual anything. Ned made a solemn vow, then and there, that he would get even with his little sister. And he had a whole non-video week to plot and plan his revenge. He watched and he waited for his chance. Then, one time when Nancy went to the tool shed to bring Shirley her dinner, like she did most every other night, Ned and his pals were lurking behind a bush. They watched Nancy bring some dinner leftovers on. There was meatloaf and those little roasted potatoes that Ned loved more than any other food. Okay, so maybe having invisible Shirley go to bed without dinner wasn't really getting even with Nancy, Ned thought, but at least he'd have a chance to get some more of his favorite food. So as soon as Nancy placed the dish in front of the tool shed and left, Ned ran up to it, sat down, and reached for a potato. The potato was slapped out of his hand by something or someone. Each one of the boys swore it wasn't them. Could it be invisible Shirley? Then Ned got poked in his belly. His shoelaces seemed to untie themselves. He started to giggle and twist himself up as if he was being tickled by a really nasty tickler who just wouldn't quit. And then, the ultimate embarrassment, his pants got hiked up into a world-class wedgie. All the boys laughed as they watched Ned do a running waddle with his pants pulled up his you-know-what. The plate of leftovers was dragged into the tool shed, although no one could be seen dragging it, and the door slammed closed. As Ned and his pals ran away, they heard, "And don't come back," from inside the tool shed. And yet, the tool shed was empty. Now, that was a true story. It happened to a friend of mine, Nancy, who's 7 years old today. Oh, and so is Shirley. I watched them share a slice of birthday cake. Blow out the candles.